Hey folks, Chap here bringing another audio commentary. Today we'll be doing a best of three between Happy and Grubby. Obviously, both evil geniuses, and this is probably going to mean that they're going to know each other's plays very well. I imagine Happy sort of has the best chance of any undead in the world of beating Grubby in a best of three, just because they probably play together most days, and so Happy will really know Grubby's preferences, the way he likes to play, and just sort of his creep route and everything like that. And meanwhile, you see Grubby going for a pretty center build, Happy going for a fiend build. As you can see, he's actually going for a pretty interesting base build here. You don't really see this very often, where he's put his graveyard and his crypt really far out front. Obviously, this is going to mean actually he's going to get a lot of blight, but I think what it's also going to mean is that he can have a lot of area blocked off, and presumably he'll put a ziggurat maybe here or something. I'm not exactly sure where the best place to get the earliest base block will be. No, he's putting it right next to his altar. I can't quite tell, but I don't think that he has a base block at this point, and so this is going to mean that he's going to maybe have to put a ziggurat there later, and obviously producing his first ghoul now as well. But Grubby meanwhile going for a standard build, Blade Master first, and I imagine we're going to see, or I'm fairly sure we're going to see sort of a Death Knight build, because unless you're going to go for a Lich Tower push, really you do have to go for a Death Knight first. Really in all situations, but Happy now finishing his graveyard, and you can see he's immediately moving his he immediately has his ghouls harvesting from there, but he's going to need to be careful not to harvest the wrong trees, because generally you want to leave a few trees at least to maintain the base block, otherwise Grubby will be able to get in with his Blade Master potentially. Although actually he does have these secondary block here, so maybe this will actually be enough. Maybe this is why I didn't put a ziggurat here, is because he's happy with Grubby being able to run around this part of the base, but he'll just have a small block here. Although a block with the Tome of Relics is pretty risky, because it can be taken down pretty quickly if you have a couple raiders with you or something, and obviously you don't want Grubby getting to your mine, especially if he has raiders with him, because he can just take that down and ensnare any sort of acolytes trying to repair or anything. But meanwhile, first fiend is now coming out for Happy, and his Death Knight obviously a bit behind, and it looks like Grubby and we'll probably go for some pretty aggressive creeping at the beginning of the game, just because he knows that or you can be fairly sure at least that Happy's going to be going for a fiend build, and so there's really Happy's going to be able to do very little for the beginning portion of this game. It looks like Grubby is going to go and maybe creep out this Ogre Magi as soon as his grunt comes in, obviously, because it is very useful to have that grunt, and Grubby coming in and immediately starting to pound down on that, and trying to shift some focus by the looks of things onto the grunt, but actually he hasn't managed to yet, and so or maybe he's just going to run this grunt away as soon as possible, or no, he's actually going to creep the entire thing, or maybe just creep for the tome as well. But getting a Ring of Protection +3, it's the worst item he could have got. It's really unfortunate, and Grubby getting taken down to really low mana. I'm surprised he's actually playing it this risky, because if Happy had, maybe this isn't something he practiced with Happy, because if Happy had come in now, he could have just got a coil off on that Blade Master, and it would have gone down very early, and that would have been very bad for Grubby. But meanwhile, Happy is actually a bit unlucky here, and now he's scouting the wrong camp. I imagine he's going to scout out this camp here, because this is pretty standard orc creeping, but he's going to scout this and realise that Grubby wasn't there, and gets there just in time for night, but there's nothing really there for him to buy at this point. And meanwhile, Grubby is running away. He doesn't. He scouted that Happy ran past his voodoo lounge, and so he needs to stay away from that. Obviously, he's a bit over 100 hit points now, but still, actually, he's getting caught out a bit here by Happy, and Happy could have got a coil there, but looks like Grubby managed to pop a wind block and will probably manage to get away, because he does have the increased movement speed, and he uses one healing salve, but Happy immediately coils him, takes him down to 90 hit points, and Grubby salves back up again. Meanwhile, it looks like Happy is just creeping with just a couple of his units, obviously tanking on his ghouls and then just setting them back, because obviously they heal really quickly on blight, and you don't really need them. But meanwhile, Grubby's peon, I'm not sure if this is his scouting one, or if he even had a scouting one. He certainly had one for building that voodoo lounge. I imagine this was probably where that one came from. I was just going around scouting a bit, but Grubby has now done a fair bit of teching. Meanwhile, Happy will be considerably, actually no, he's not that far behind actually. Happy going for a very quick base build and going for a third ghoul maybe, or maybe he lost a ghoul, I'm not sure. I can't see a second ghoul on his base. Oh no, he's put it down here. Actually moved it away from the graveyard. That's a bit weird, but I guess he has his reasons, and Happy making a mistake not putting him on the right, not putting the ghouls onto wood immediately, but realising this and going back to it as soon as possible. And meanwhile, Grubby just creeping out some really obscure spots. Obviously he's just trying to avoid Happy. Happy going for a pretty unusual thing of creeping with his fiends separate from his ghouls, but this is very bad for Happy. He gets one fiend ensnared, and Grubby uses a speed scroll trying to capitalize on this. Looks like he try and just kill it, and yes, actually get this round. That's a very nice play there by Grubby, and he will get this one kill, and Happy's not going to bother to coil it because they would have just gone down anyways, and that would have been a waste of a coil. But level 2 on the Death Knight now anyways. Looks like Happy's probably going to go for a coil on this, or he won't even need to, just cancel the salve, and he can probably chase it down if he wants to, but I'm not sure that's his best option at this point. And Grubby salving up and being forced to windwalk actually, because that one skeleton warrior was there. And Grubby now deciding to move his grunts back, and actually almost a surround here by Grubby. Could manage to, no, he doesn't manage to get it in the end, but he will still manage to force the Death Knight to run away, and both actually have boots. I'm surprised Happy bought boots, considering that he did get aura fairly quickly. But I guess it's just going to help him keep away from that Blade Master, and you can always sell it later once you have a higher level aura. And Grubby taking immediately to tier 3, no grunt upgrade, no tier 2 buildings, nothing, straight to tier 3 tech, and just a oh no, Shadowhunter, a Torn Chieftain actually. Torn Chieftain obviously very nice against fiends, but Grubby does lose that one ghoul, so this is actually going pretty well for Happy, all things considered at this point. Happy's tech will now be done. He'll probably be going to tier 3. Yeah, he is going to tier 3 as well. And meanwhile, he's actually not putting up any tier 2 either. Actually, maybe this is going for his spirit or slaughterhouse. Sorry, first. And I imagine Grubby's gonna put up a bestiary as soon as he has the economy to. But actually, yeah, he's putting up a war mill and another voodoo lounge and a bestiary. But yeah, that's pretty sensible. Obviously, it's quite nice to get a voodoo lounge in your base. It's quite nice to get early Kodo as well. Even against fiends, Kodos are just really quite good, despite the obvious armor disadvantage, especially in conjunction with the Blade Master, where you increase their damage and stuff as well. And then when you get tier 3 and you get a bonus to their damage aura and stuff, it just Kodos are really well worth getting with your tier 3 orc. And meanwhile, Grubby and Happy are actually creeping quite close to each other at this point. They haven't scouted each other though, and looks like Happy will get pretty close to level 3 off this, whereas Grubby, I think, is Torn Chieftain is still level 1. I think his Blade Master is probably level 2 in a bit by this point. Actually no, he just hit level 3, and looks like he's just going to go around and scout a bit. Scouting out, obviously, I'm actually just trying to solo creep this. This is quite aggressive by Grubby, but I guess it is perfectly reasonable, and he will manage to do this pretty quickly. And this is going to be really annoying for Happy, because obviously this is one of Happy's caps, and you really don't want to lose all your best camps, because obviously that's all the experience and all the great items as well. And Grubby being forced to run away so he can windwalk and then salve up, and then he'll have 2 spare item spots, so he can actually come back and pick up both these items. But meanwhile, Happy not scouting this, these items are still there, and he might have actually been able to get them, but he doesn't quite manage to. And looks like Happy's gonna have to coil this one fiend, and I'm using a dust action. Grubby's in a bit of trouble here, being forced to use his greater healing potion. Looks like he is trying to get this fiend, but a lich now comes in as well, and Grubby thought he had the kill on it, but he didn't quite, and being forced to use a windwalk and then not actually getting the kill because the coil came in a bit later, and the Frost Nova as well being used to great effect, and Grubby being forced to run away without actually getting any kills, but and wasting his greater healing potion as well. And he does manage to force the TB though on the Death Knight. Grubby's coming straight into Happy's base though. Clearly he wants to get this kill in, but Happy knows exactly what's going on here, and buys a healing potion as soon as possible. He even literally TP'd fairly close to a shop. Actually, that might have been incidental, but he did nonetheless, and so he was managed to keep his Death Knight alive. And Grubby's still with 1 more mana for Windwalk, so he could try and go for some creep steals here. Although Happy is aware that the Blade Master is around. He does have 2 charges on dust, so he'll certainly be wary of this. And he does use his dust now, and Grubby getting caught out a bit. Lich with an orb, so obviously very easy to focus on the Blade Master with a combination of orb and fiend. And Happy now bringing in his ghouls as well. This is a bit unusual. Does he have a lot of lumber, or does he just... No, he doesn't have that much lumber. I guess he has enough for now because he is tier 3 and sort of always requisite teching is done for a bit, and he is leaving 1 ghoul on lumber, and so I guess he just wants that extra damage output. But meanwhile, the Torn Chieftain has been creeping fairly effectively. Obviously Happy's been kept quite busy by just the Blade Master, and so the Torn Chieftain will get level 3 now, and actually not brilliant items. He does have a Ring of Protection +3, but still some pretty bad items. Orb now on the Blade Master as well, and Grubby does actually come in and gets the steal on that 1 creep, and has to run away. And I wonder what the charge item was for Happy. Book of the Dead. That's actually not that bad, because I don't think Grubby has gone for a Spirit Lodge. No, he hasn't. And Grubby actually getting reinforced defenses as well. Obviously, you need to be wary of Destro's coming in, just destroying you, and Happy getting an Alchemist third. This is pretty sensible stuff, because Alchemist obviously can reduce your armor. I assume he's going to go for Acid Bomb, and the combined focusing power of all that reduced armor, really combined with with the Fiends as well, it's just so much damage output. And it's really just so good for focusing. I think this is actually quite a smart choice. You don't often see it with undead these days, but I think it is actually a really powerful hero choice. And meanwhile, Happy going and buying a Dust and an Invuln pot on his Death Knight, and Grubby is now trying to creep, I think, before Happy scouts this, but Grubby will manage to creep it and will get a, what did he get? Healing Wards. Not actually terrible until these Destros come out, and I assume Destros will come out at some point, and Grubby actually using one to heal, and Kodo immediately being focused down, but doesn't manage to even eat something before it's killed, and Grubby actually in a very bad position here. Getting his Eternal Chieftain into a very nice position though, and manages to get a stomp that hits about 5 fiends, or 4 fiends, sorry, and Grubby just using